morning, Zambia. Good evening. I believe that in the previous video, I talked about the 80 stages where Israel went into slavery. As seen today, that Zambia, or Africa rather, is passing in the same path to economical slavery. Today, I'm continuing with the point that the selections of leaders that want to fight the government of UPND, which I saw as a government that has a symbol of a palm. This symbol of a palm, it is believed it's also a symbol in Freemason. So the UPND symbol and the Freemason symbol of the open palm, they match together. And the presence of the Freemason in Zambia confirms the writings that I wrote here in this book that I actually published in 2001. So listen to the subject when I wrote about it. Third term is not God's blessing. When I was told, I was actually prophesying on Chiluba. Before he actually mentioned it, I saw him building a house, a grass-shaped small house, round house in State House ground. Then when I saw him doing that, I actually said, what is it that this man is attempting to do? Then I realized that Chiluba was actually building an extra house. So by so doing, I did what? I actually realized to say Chiluba was actually trying to extend his power. Then when he's trying to extend his power, I want to say that I wrote this book before Chiluba announced the third term intention, which is a clear sign that God has been speaking to me through visions and dreams. And this is what I said. There is chapter 5, I wrote Revelation, third term, not God's blessing. So this was a challenge that I gave to Chiluba. And on page 31, I also talked about Sata walking out of Pope, walking out of ShopRite. And I said Pope in charge. I said after Sata, Pope will follow in. This is the other question is, will the Pope be in charge of the affairs of Zambia after President Chiluba leaves office? Yes, through the church, he has already gained ground and the church is taking its final position by not supporting the third term cause. So this was my earlier understanding of this vision. Listen to this, what I wanted you to understand is, in the first 8 unedited copies of this book, 1 to President Chiluba, 1 to former President Kaunda, and the rest of the copies I gave to to the opposition party leaders, namely UPND President Mazoka, UPND Chairman Mutonga, this one must be Henry Mutonga, Heritage President Brigadier General Mianda, and FDD President General Christian Tembo. The other 2 copies were sold to the public. In this case, 8 unedited copies. I outlined the understanding of the vision as follows. Groceries represent free food from donor countries based on Amos chapter 4, verse 8. And let me just explain the point that I want here is to say that those who are arguing the writings of this book kindly take the copies. Ask these people that I've mentioned here for a copy. You are going to find that there is nothing edited that removes what I'm talking about. The next point that I want you is on this paragraph 2, which I said, main political parties tend to witchcraft or spiritualism or satanism or occult secret societies like Freemasonry in order to obtain favors from their their followers and to maintain their hold on political power or simply for monetary gain. So when I talked about Freemason, witchcraft, spiritualism, and satanism or occult secret society like Freemason, it was revealed to me that this government that will come after the UPND will actually enforce this thing. Now listen to this video, the one that I want you to understand. As you saw on the video, how the sister to the late former president Edgar Lungu, she expressed to say, you want to use my brother for rituals. She also expressed fear of everything that surrounds the arrangement for the burial. Why have I brought this video? I've stated in the earlier course to say I talked about spiritualism and satanic and occult secret societies like Freemason. It is a time that these issues are now coming on a political scene, not only on Zambian screen or South African screen, but internationally, the whole world, which brings the fulfillment of this prophecy that I think is page 100 in this same book that no, it's supposed to be not this book, on the second volume of this book. In also this volume, I think I talked about also Satanism as well. This is where I explained it in details. But what I want to quote from this book is page 105, perhaps for us to get a clear picture. I'll start from page 103. I know I will continue to believe that God shall save me at his coming. To Hakainde Hichilema, I say what I told the late Anderson Mazoka, that start with God and run with God unto the end, and end with God. Do what God shall reveal unto you all the time, so shall you save your soul from death. I also invite you to Mount Carmel and meet your God, and he is waiting. I'm talking to you on this subject for the first time. This was in a letter to President, this open letter to then President Dr. Mwanawasa. I continued to say to Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, God says, come to the second president of Zambia, Dr. Frederick Titus Jacob Chiluba. God says, come. And Mr. Lev Patrick Mwanawasa, come. Mr. Sata, God says, come. UPND President Hakainde Hichilema, meet your God at Mount Carmel. Come. To Honorable Mwanga, God says, come, my son, and let us reason together. Also, Mrs. Mavis Myunda, tell Naaman Mwanawasa that there is a prophet in Israel. Lepers shall be cleaned, corruption shall be healed, AIDS shall be healed. Try your God, he says. Ask, it shall be given unto you, and knock, the door shall be opened. Matthew chapter 7, verse 7 to 12. The venue is number 10942/449 Komboka to Atasha Road. That's where was my residence. I said the date where I invited them was 19/05/2007. This was May. Time 9 hours. Admission is free and food is free. Isaiah 11 verse 1 to 6. Come, the spirit of knowledge shall rest upon you. Come, the spirit of wisdom to understand dreams or revelation shall be given unto you. The spirit of counsel to defeat your enemies is sure. Now, just looking at this invitation, just look at what I've actually promised. And maybe before I can actually talk about this, look at this precisely alignment of SATA and Hakainde Hichilema. I made them stand according to their succession. And this was because of the vision that I had to say, SATA forced himself to say, I'll be president no matter what it takes. And Hakainde says, no matter how long it will take, I'll be president. I lined them. The Mwangas and so forth, they were there as their agents or assistants in this political war. Now look, I said, if they had come, they were going to receive free food because I was able to do what? To feed them. Even when they didn't want me to cook for them, I was able to even to take them to a place of eating, either a hotel or a motel. I was going to buy them the food they needed. But the point that I wanted them to come is to have the spirit of knowledge that shall rest upon them. So today I'm saying a leader who wants to challenge Hakainde Hichilema must have the spirit of knowledge that shall rest upon that leader, who can only be a person that I must pray for. Then the spirit of wisdom to understand dreams or revelation shall be given unto them. This is the reason why when God told me to say, now 7 leaders have led in fulfillment of prophecy, it is now your role to search for a leader who shall understand and accept visions and dreams and lead in accordance to the expectation of God's agenda to return natural resources into Africa's ownership. So you need to understand visions and dreams. You need the spirit of counsel to defeat your enemies. By receiving the spirit of counsel, that means revelations will give you understanding on how you can defeat your enemies. When they come this way, the God of heaven, according to Deuteronomy chapter 28, he says they'll come in one way and they'll scatter in 7 ways. So when you have the revelation of God, you are going to understand. Let's come. I said, come receive quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. For the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, to judge national issues rightly as did Solomon. Come, that you shall not judge after the sight of your eyes. Your eyes may mislead you in judgment, and your judgment may mislead the nation, and the nation may turn against each other, and the blood can be felt before the throne of God. And you may pass your appointed time. For those who want to prove God, He is faithful to render the results. I want to pause a bit here. When I said come and receive foresight, because your eyes, Hakainde Hichilema, your eyes, Lubinda, who refused to attend to my request to give you these blessings, and you are busy telling me, so don't tell me history, don't tell me history, tell me what you want me to do. I just realized to say, this person is quite stubborn. He doesn't realize what is it that I want to give him. Even when I was in court, the one who removed you from receiving the book and the application that I made to intervene, and eventually I stood outside there, as you claim to say, no, it was just because they wanted me to sit down. When you came outside, when the court was adjourned, I waited for you outside. I talked to you to say, "Wa president, namukana kulanda na ine. Naba mulesha kulanda na ine." I was appealing to you, and you said, no, you didn't want even to stand and speak to me because you were so confident that you were right to not to speak to me. And this morning, when I was talking to you on a telephone, you gave me what I can call cold shoulder, because your speech, you are actually rebuking me for actually referring to prophecy. Now, I want to say that it is time that I want to explain to you to say, this letter to Mwanawasa was a means to rescue Zambian government, not Mwanawasa alone. Even actually, I was trying to save you from missing these blessings that I've actually said, because it is the only means that a leader who wants to lead the country of Zambia must understand that the times has changed. As this sister to Edgar Lungu, she was crying of rituals. The situation is of no doubt leading to the very environment of fear of life, because when we believe in God, we also understand in reality that there is also witchcraft. We understand without denying. I've sometimes talked about King Saul, who rejected to listen to Samuel, to Prophet Samuel. What did King Saul did? He ended up doing what? Calling for a witch to rescue him from the fear of death, because he was attacked. Now, when he asked for a prophet, he could not find a prophet. But then he asked to say, where can I get a witch so that he can raise back Samuel to come and tell me what I must do? He went to a witch whom that witch, he had declared death to them, meaning that King Saul had listened to the prophet Samuel to say witches cannot give you protection. And he declared in his kingdom that I don't want a witch. And all witches scampered. They went into mountain. They were hiding. But when the prophet died, because King Saul only took partially the instruction of the prophet, he didn't want to listen to the prophet. There were Lubinda did not want to listen to me. And he just wanted to get the direction to say, you need prayer. He doesn't even know what kind of prayer that he needs. He thinks it's a prayer that can be prayed by any pastor in the world. That can be prayed by anyone. He thinks that is his pastor. I've heard many people telling me to say, oh, my prophet, oh, my pastor prayed for me. Oh, my bishop, When you receive a message of warning, that is the source of your blessing, where you need to seek a right prayer. Because when you repent from someone, then you start playing the role of repentance, acting what he told you, but seeking prayer from TB Joshua, seeking prayer from Siawan, seeking prayer from Amata, praise whatsoever. I want to say that regardless of your obedience to the directions that God is calling you to do, without seeking a prayer from the right source, you are wasting your time. You end up like King Saul, who is going to seek after me when I'm dead, because you realize that all those prophets, they are misleading you. They are not giving you the accurate information. So now, when I was calling to say, come for the spirit of knowledge that it must rest upon you, come and receive understanding in the fear of the Lord. For the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, to judge national issues rightly as did Solomon. The way the judgment was given and the way this woman erupted before the court, adjourned, cried without stopping, and expressed her fear, it is exactly that shows that there is no judgment that is done in the fear of God. Because all judges that need to look, they must have pity and mercy towards a widow who has stayed now for a long period without burying the husband. Almost 2 months. So this appeal will take to the 3rd month. This appeal will take for 1 year to go. Maybe if they are not happy because they don't want to go to Zambia, if the Constitutional Court of South Africa cannot give them the right judgment, they'll take it to international court where they'll be justified as refugees who need their place of burial within the land where they are residing. Even when the Constitution says if a person is born, if a baby is born in the air in South African territory, even if the aeroplane goes and lands in Zambia, as long as the baby was born, well as the aeroplane is taking off from South African Oliver Tambo Airport, that child will be given a birth certificate for South Africa. The same law must apply on birth, on what? On death. When a person dies in South Africa, he has died in South Africa. The burial place is in South Africa. When a person is born in Zambia, the aeroplane is in the air, it's continuing to Tanzania. A Tanzanian person is born in Zambia, and they zoom the map is in Zambia where that birth has taken place. That person has on what? On a birth record, it must indicate as born in Zambia. So what about death? So let us have judgment that brings peace, judgment that settles matters amicably. But unfortunately, this judgment, as much as we respect the judges in South Africa, but we also have suspicion, strong suspicion, based on the fact that Robert Chavinga mentioned that there is mingalato, meaning that there is more efforts that must be done to bribe the judges so that the body must come to Zambia without fail. So now, even when I attended the hearing on Monday, I understood to say the questions the judges, they were asking the lawyer to the widow, they were actually defeating the very purpose why they don't want to take the body to Zambia. Whereas the previous questions that were asking to the lawyer that was representing the government of Zambia, they were actually leading to defeating the respondent, because they were building up a case to say, no, the late knew that he needed to be buried in Zambia. Was there an agreement meant? If the agreement, yes, it was agreed that they must bury in Zambia. So there's no reason. So you find that the judges were actually more reluctant to chip in and lead out in those questioning to build up a picture of saying that there was an agreement already agreed that Lungu must be buried where? In Zambia. Then this lawyer comes up and says, oh, all those allegations that he refused to go for jogging, he was refused to go for church, he was refused to go for medication. There is no proof. There's no proof of such allegation. It's just a matter of allegation. There's no proof on the file. So I want to say that as much as they said there is no proof, I had the proof. Because even when the videos that were shown where Edgar Lungu was chased by the police, was actually refused by the police to leave the court premises when he wanted to have a walk. Say, no, you came with a car, enter into the car. A simple police officer commanding the former president to go back into the car. Say, no, I want to walk. I want to walk. And no, you are not permitted to walk. That was enough for me to see that President Edgar Lungu was persecuted. When I saw that, again, there's another video where himself says, I cannot allow someone who could not care for my child and attend the funeral come near to the funeral. Never. How can I can be congratulated with SDA when I'm not a member, or Catholic when I'm not a member? So in that video, which I know there are details, I was supposed to play all those things, but in the near future, I'll be able to have all my studio tools in place. I'll be able to present it very well. But because God has squeezed me to warn you, even when I don't have the means to do so, I've forced myself to present this voice that you are hearing. That you people in Zambia, in Africa, when you refuse to listen what I'm telling you, you are going to see to read that when America puts its foot down to get our natural resources, no one will raise his head if you are not grounded in truth. What I'm trying to say is, what I was writing in this book, which I've never at one point edited or to add anything, I've always mentioned to say, in these 2 books or 3 books with the 3 volume, these 3 books, this one is the first volume, the airport trap. This one is the second volume. These are original copies. This one is the 3rd volume. These are original copies. You can even see that they are of old. I've not edited. They are there for witness. The only thing that I have to edit upon reproducing of these books is the 7th day as the Saturday, and the Sunday as the first day of the week is what I'm going to remove from this book, because that was a doctrine taught from the womb, because I was born in the SDA. Even when I was writing the 3rd volume, I was taught to say Saturday was not the 7th day. But because I did not have an understanding, I could not have a clue to identify the moon until 2020. That's when I came to realize that, okay, this is the true calendar that God was trying to show me. When I was sleeping outside at UN, I had a dream when I saw it was dark and the moon was uprising there. And God told me to say that was the first day of the week. Then I tried to look at the moon. Then eventually I found other people that were worshipping on the moon, but worshipping according to the moon, but they were considering the full moon as the first day of the week. I want to appeal to you to say, from that very day, I asked my God, and God repeated the second time that the first day of the week is the crescent moon. The darkness, when the moon does not give light during the night, during the day, it means it is a dark moon day, a dark phase, which is resembling the creation. When God created heaven and earth, it was covered and what? Covered with darkness. It was void. Until when light was created, that's when evening began and the days started counting. Evening, after darkness, after light, then the evening and the morning the following day was the first day. This uncounted time is the time that stands for the new moon day, which can either be 1 day or 2 days. Uncounted time at creation remains a resetting date for the weekly cycle. The weekly cycle comes to an end on the last crescent what? Crescent moon, which is on the 29th and the last Sabbath of the month. And from that last Sabbath on the crescent moon, The day that follows is a dark moon day, where a moon does not give light. Then we wait for the crescent moon. When it rises, we count the first week as the first day of the week. The quarter moon, 7 days. Another full moon, 7 days. Another quarter moon, 7 days. The last crescent moon, 7 days. The month is complete. I was made to understand in a vision. When I'm calling leaders to say, can you come, let me talk to you. Can you come, let me pray for you. I want to give them understanding that in the next government, that must be based on God's law. The law of the weekly cycle must be reverted to the lunar calendar law. That's my role. I'm not going to be a politician, no. But my role is to say the keeping of the 10 Commandments, more especially the Sabbath, the day of worship, must be on the first quarter moon, the 8th day of the month, the 15th day of the month, and the full moon, and the 22nd day of the moon, which is the last quarter moon, and 29th day, which is the last crescent moon. Those are the days that God instituted for worship. Every leader that want to benefit from this book, I bet you, when you get these books and read them and accept and keep the Sabbath, there is no bullet that shall bring you down. There is no poison that shall bring you down. You have the hedge of protection. When I was looking forward for Luvinda to speak to him, I'm not promising him leadership, because this leadership, I don't want to promise someone who is not willing to listen to God, because the graves will keep on increasing. The graves will keep on multiplying. Because even right now, I've already started to say, if Hakainde Hichilema does not accept Ibrahim Traoré, see roadmap to economical slavery, I don't see him living, because there was a fire between him and Michael Sat. And that fire was a funeral gathering. The two people are faced with a funeral gathering. Already, the one who succeeded to Sata, he also faced, because he was under the leadership of Chiluba, the MMD. These are MMD leaders that Chiluba blocked by bringing in Manawasa, and Chiluba was fighting God's revelation by all doing that, because I warned him. But I thank God, God permitted this to continue. So I don't know if the leadership of Zambia and the leadership of South Africa, the leadership of Africa, many other African countries that are refusing to work with Traoré, if they'll still go ahead, depending on donor aid, which has enslaved Africa. Donor aid has brought the control on our leaders. Our leaders are under hostage. They cannot decide anything. Hakainde is reading something that they wrote for him. All the social medias like Koswe, Muzungu wa Mkombo ni wanu, and all these other social medias, platforms that talk evil against the family of Edgar Lungu and against Lungu. I want to say that I wanted to play another video where they were celebrating that Akatumbi Kalesa Kwenyu Akatumbi Kwenyu, he will be buried here. A celebration and insult from elderly people in Zambia. That showed me to say, indeed, this prophecy that I've been always reading, that Zambia will remain without a leader, we will remain without a king, and tribal wars, divisions, and everything will continue. I think, 105 of this book. Then Zambia will remain without a king before God. No one shall unite the nation. Hakainde has failed to unite the nation. No one will remain to guide the nation. Hakainde and all leaders like Ramaphosa's and so forth, they have lost control of guiding the nations. Because even here, there is a Xenophobia Act, which is uncalled for, which is something that is supported by the white minority in order for them to cause confusion, to confuse Ramaphosa. Because the Ramaphosas, they don't want to listen to God. They don't want to consult God. Even in Zimbabwe, there is total confusion because these leaders, I gave letters to these leaders. Zimbabwe and Zambia, it was within my access. And this is the reason why you find that my prophecies plays within the route where I was able to step my foot and send a message of owning. And also, the American, it is also fulfilled there with the Obama, the killing of Gaddafi. Also Donald Trump, the stopping of aid. It is a fulfillment of what I wrote in this book, which I took the 3 of my books to the American embassy in Zambia. When they were starting building the new American embassy, I took there. I was driving, if you can check on your cameras, I was driving a red Baki, which I went, it was late in the evenings when I took those books. So I want to tell you to say, where warning has gone, these visions have played a pivotal role. So now, there is no one that will remain, that no one shall have respect in the eyes of the people of the world. So I mentioned the people of the world. What happened today? What happened when the judgment was declared? It left us speechless, and it left the world watching, because there is no one who did not see how this woman cried. The way this woman cried, it was a sign that there is no respect to Hakainde Hichilema, because he accused Hakainde Hichilema of wanting the body of Hakainde of Lungu for his rituals, in order to cement his power, in order to give his power more influence, using the influence of Edgar Lungu. Those allegations, they are very strong, and they have exposed Hakainde Hichilema to the world scrutiny. It has removed him the respect that he must have. If he listened to what I said to him in other videos, where I said, Hakainde Hichilema, allow the body to come, don't go near it, leave them to bury, you lose nothing, because he has died. You continue with life. But Hakainde Hichilema, I even asked him to say, can you involve me to intervene in this peace talks between you and the family of Lungu? You refused. As the PF also refused to allow me to intervene in the High Court, to give the sense of persecution, to give the sense of spiritual guidance, because this confusion that is in Zambia, this confusion that is in South Africa, this confusion that is in Zimbabwe, this confusion that is in all African countries that are protesting against their leaders, it is actually attended through these books. And many people have been calling for the books and promising to do what? To send money for the books. But unfortunately, many of them, they have not committed themselves to the buying, except one who I'm going to deliver the book. Hopefully by Monday, I'm sending it to start coming that side. I want to say that I wrote also 12 volumes to Hakainde Hichilema of these books, with the doctrine that can empower a leader who wants to rule with the protection of God. That leader must have these 12 volumes and listen to them with a wisdom given from God, and you shall see that you are going to defeat your enemy. The formula to remove the Catholic government set is written in these books. Catholic, I'm not hating you. I'm speaking purely from God's revelation. When I was 19, I was given that revelation. And at 19, during our time, when children, they were so peaceful, when children, they were so humble, during our time, when we were at 19, we could go and bath in a river with adults, girls, without doing anything, because we are still not in this age of phones and Google, where our children are exposed to nakedness before they could grow. Us at that time, we remember, even when I was walking in the street, when you meet someone and there is a funeral gathering, people are gathered, you see them cry. You don't know that the person who has died, but as long as you are told that a person has died, you cry. Cry, you start mourning, you start weeping bitterly, because just the death of a person, it was so fearful during our days. And today, this is where we see a generation of older people, even older than me, dancing that the body of Lungu is coming. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. It actually fulfills what I've been reading on page 105 of the open letter to Mwanawasa, to say there will be no respect, there will be total division. Tribal wars will continue, because today people, they have preferred to eat prophets in rejection, to eat politics in rejection of prophets. May God bless you. May God bless you. If you are one of those that is willing to take these books and read them and ask for a prayer from me when you want to lead from this confusion, then you shall be blessed, and God shall give you the wisdom that is needed at this particular time when Satanism is taking control of world governments. May God bless you. Amen.